Hey leaders, thanks so much for watching again, and thank you so much for our discussion from last Sunday night when we had a little bit of our longer leader meeting. We had some great ideas about engaging students throughout the week, and this week during our video, I just want to recap a little bit of what we discussed last Sunday at that leader meeting. The idea that Monday is coming and what happens on Sundays doesn't always connect to the stresses in real life of Monday for students, unless we as adult leaders can help them connect the dots. And that's our role, I feel like, is helping students connect the dots from church to their world. We had a great discussion about how you as leaders can be present in our students' lives throughout the week. We had some real practical, what can we do together? I'll be rolling out some more resources for you in the next few months over the summer to help us make this connection even easier as well. But it boils down to your commitment and your dedication to step out of Sundays and into the everyday lives with your students. So a lot of this you're already doing. And so I thank you for already doing these things and stepping out of Sundays. And I hope this brings to importance your role as a small group leader. And here's something I found interesting from the conference that we just went to as our church leadership. They said you can speak and teach the truth on Sunday nights, but without a relationship founded in love, the truth won't matter. That's a hard idea to swallow sometimes because we have really good information and really good truth that we want our students to know, but in order for it to matter, they need to know, and our students need to know, that we have a connection beyond a program or an event. So we'll be talking more about this in the coming weeks, but I want to thank you for what you're currently doing, and I want you to encourage you to think more with a Monday is coming mindset and how we can help students bridge the gap between church and school, family, home, friends, and all of the other places that our students are a part of. So thank you for that. Looking forward to that conversation with you. Now this week, we're in week 2 of Over Time. And figuring out what you want to do with your life is an important question that we often ask students. And I think there's an even better question that we should be asking. What kind of person do you want to be when you grow up? This question, more than any other, is going to shape our students' next years to come. Why? Because the type of person you end up being will directly impact the type of life you end up living. The type of person you become is the foundation and the building block for enjoying and experiencing life the way that God desires it to be lived. But here's the thing, the problem isn't that we don't know who we want to be. The problem is we don't know how to become that person. To become the person we want to be, we have to know how to get there, and it starts with our decisions right now. And that may seem like a really simple answer, but your decisions, starting with the decisions you make today, are setting a course for who you will become, even the decisions that feel like little ones. Because our decisions over time will determine the type of person we will be one day. And if you get this right, you aren't just going to be the person you want to be, but you're going to be the person that God wants you to be. But do you know the catch? The catch is making decisions, and making good decisions is difficult. And we're going to look at another letter from a guy named Paul. And Paul's writing as someone who used to be in jail and used to throw people into jail and kill people that are following Jesus. And before Paul was Paul, his name was actually Saul. And he hated Christians. But then he had an encounter with God, and his entire life, and even his name, changed completely. So Paul's writing as someone who had been down the road of becoming the wrong kind of person. Listen to what Paul says. He says, "Don't copy the behavior and customs of this world, but let God transform you into a new person by changing the way you think. Then you will learn and know God's will for you, which is good and pleasing and perfect." And that's Romans 12:2. Did you catch that? Paul gives us the secret to changing the decisions we make. He doesn't want us to copy the way the world makes decisions. He says that we become who God wants us to be by changing the way we think. Now, Jesus and Paul taught the same thing here, and they didn't act like the behavior police telling us exactly what to do and say. That's because they knew our behavior really isn't the issue. The deeper issue is our minds and our thoughts. Jesus and Paul both knew our lives would never change unless our thinking changed. Jesus was way more interested in our thoughts than our ability to think, and our ability to think the right way, than our actions and our ability to act the right way. In other words, Paul and Jesus know that right thinking over time equals right decisions, and right decisions over time equals better lives. And that's our bottom line this week, that right thinking equals right living. Here's the thing, simply knowing the right thing isn't enough. And if we're honest, that's where a lot of students are. We hear the right thing and we agree with it. We teach the right thing as leaders, but it hasn't changed lives. Now, as we head out this Sunday, I want you to know that God wants good things for you. He doesn't make rules or commandments to keep us from having fun, but instead to set us up for a great life now and a great life later. But God also won't force you to make good decisions. A lot of that's going to be dependent on our students and on you. So think about what decisions you need to make now to become who you want to be later. Because right thinking, connected to good decisions, will help you get there over time. So we'll see you at 4:45 this week for our leader huddle right before youth group. And it's Juliana's first day, our summer intern. So keep an eye out for her. I'll introduce her around and make her feel really welcomed this Sunday. It's going to be a great summer with her. It's going to be a great week in student ministry on Sunday night with us. We're looking forward to it. Have a great week, guys. See ya.